My name. I give you glory. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. More than the I can see your hand in my life. Lord, I see your love upon me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the view. I dey hear your voice in my heart. Lord, I feel your love over me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the below. Abba Father, you know my name. Papa, you know me. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yeah, yeah. Jesus, your love, now oh. My master, your kindness, now wonder oh. Every time I look around, now you are the sea. Every time I turn around, now you are the view. Jesus, you said I be a picking no. Jesus, you said your love will cover me. Every time I look around, now you are the sea. Every time I look around, now you are the pillow. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, yeah. You know me, you know my name. Papa, you know my name, oh. Hey. You know me, you know my name. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yeah, yeah. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Papa, you know my name, oh. You know me, you know my name. Yelele, 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 yeah. Hey, yeah. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yelele. Oh, oh. I have a story to tell the world. I have a story to tell the world. I was long forgotten in sin. Tradition took me, the world swallowed me. I have a story to tell the world. I have a story to tell the world. This is my story. Please listen carefully.
Greetings to the people of Ambazonia, and greetings to all who are listening to us from around the globe. For your information, This is ABC Amba TV, and this is your favorite program, our Amba History. And 21 gun salutes to the restoration forces that want and they are still standing and fighting to make sure that our history, which is very, very uh, powerful, still remains relevant. 21 gun salutes to all of you. I want to especially thank the President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, Dr. Samuel Ekome Sako, for his resilience, his steadfastness, and his giving heed to the word that came to him from God Almighty. And the word is Jesus that has kept him going, and definitely he is going. So thank you, Mr. President. I want to also thank the entire cabinet and the administration of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. I want to let you know that today I have something very special for all of you, because with these institutions that have been restored, we must step up to where we're supposed to be and use our mouth to bring forth that which is ours. We have been lingering around too much and staying around this mountain so much. It's time to move, and we must move according to God's dictates. I will be bringing to you the reality of our history that is connected to a history that we now read, that was penned down for us to read and make reference to our own history. Fortunately enough, it tarries with church and politics, which is one of the subject matters and the topics that I teach the people over the over the ABC Amba TV, not only to the Ambazonians, but to the entire world, to see where we went wrong and try to correct our wrongs while we are still in this generation. And so, with these tidbits and with these subtopics, I will be expatiating on that which I can do today. And please, I want to make an appeal. Any of you who is from Amberland, from Ambazonia, and you can get a hold of those Ambazonian, not ancestors, because those ancestors in Yaoundé have failed. They're supposed to be in their graves now, but they have really failed us. We want to get the vibrant Ambazonians who did not only study history, but lived history, that we are talking about in our forums and in this particular program, our Amba history. We don't want the distorted history that some few francophones and gullible Ambazonians got up a few days ago and said they want to rewrite the history. Meanwhile, they have hidden all the books that were brought out by S.N. Tita, who talked about our geography, our history, our economics, and so on and so forth. Anyway, let's relax and please tell somebody to get ready, come in and hear live. Remember, today, our phone line is already on the screen. You can interrupt me at any moment and make your call, but we'll receive calls that are instructive, calls that are, questions that are teachable, suggestions that are teachable, and not to spend our time talking on matters that do not matter and trying to make some few people, I've grown up in a society where when everybody is going the right way and somebody amongst the people who are going the right way discovers that he or she is not relevant, we want to jump out of the line in order to become relevant. In fact, to do something opposite so the person can become relevant. And those are some of the things that have been happening in this our history, which I would reject and I would want to report and under talk about such cases. But want to talk about the positive cases of where we are and what we are going. But relax and listen to this testimony from this gentleman. Let's go. Over to you, sir.
I was long forgotten in sin. Tradition took me, the world swallowed me. I have a story to tell the world. I have a story to tell the world. This is my story, please listen carefully. One day I met a lady. She told me that Jesus died for me. He shed his blood and he loves me. He's calling me, his light is shining. We'll shine in my darkness. We'll shine in my darkness. I answered the lady, I said, since I was born, I heard that same story. Have you seen him? Have you touched him? Have you met him? And where is he? After many words of argument all day, I saw my sin, I was ashamed. I surrender to the Savior. I surrender to the Redeemer. What about you? He's calling you. What about you? Jesus is calling you. Everybody. Everybody sing. Everybody sing. Sing, amen. Sing and give glory to the Most High God. Everybody sing. Everybody sing.
Thank you very much, Sister Josephine and Annie. I'm grateful. I've given you enough time to invite your friends and to invite those who want to learn because history is open to those that are willing to learn. And I'm here to share a bit of that history with you. A lot of people in this 21st century are still very, very confused. And I am actually wondering why they are confused. And of course, I can't blame them. There are so many voices out there that they find it difficult to decipher which voice they should actually follow. But I want to reiterate about our Ambazonian case that the story of Ambazonia, the former British Southern Cameroons, and the West Cameroon, as it was called, I've shown you in the pictorial form. I've shown you in books how it is written, and I've also told you how it was handed down verbally. And one thing is very clear that the resolutions that made Ambazonia to be a nation is the same resolution that made La République du Cameroon to be a nation. Now, get ready as I tell you this story.
Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. You know my name, oh Daddy. You know me, you know my name. I can see your hand in my life. Lord, I see your love upon me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the view. I dey hear your voice in my heart. Lord, I feel your love over me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the pillow. Abba Father, you know my name. Papa, you know me.
Yes, and our history started with God knowing Ambazonia, and we had one of our brothers who also is a historian. He sings to us and tells us about this particular God whom in 2018, when President Sako took over, he declared that he was our anchor. And from that time till tomorrow, we are holding on to him and he's showing us mercy. With that said, I was saying that resolutions that gave independence to some African countries, particularly the countries that were under the UN protectorate system, and there were countries that were also category B, classified as category B. They all had their independence under some resolutions. And I remember very vividly that the resolution that gave the La République du Cameroon independence is Resolution 1349 and Article 13. And the one that gave birth to the independence of Ambazonia is Resolution 1608 and Article 15. Now, over the years, the same resolution that gave independence to La République has been very much hidden. Nobody talks about that. La République dare not talk about that. And some of the Ambazonian historians who, before they drank and ate the forbidden fruit from the table of La République du Cameroon, were slightly and lightly mentioning these resolutions. But when they had fully eaten the forbidden fruit and their eyes were now open to corruption and to bribery and to depravity and so many other negative things, they turned around and forgot. And La République, taking advantage of that ignorance, claimed to give the Federal Republic of Ambazonia a special status, or to make them a second-class citizen in the federation that never existed, or to keep them as perpetual slaves, like John Gute running around as a slave boy, to make sure that we remain under bondage of La République du Cameroon, which is actually being controlled by France. And because France knows that the intellectuals and the intelligence of the Federal Republic of Ambazonian people will immediately knock them out, if possibly without the use of force, of which they have come with a force, and the Ambazonia has proven to them that if you come in both ways, we are ready because we are under God. Now, they now decided to use some slave boys like John Gute and a number of other Ambazonian slaves to try to keep us under perpetual bondage. But the never again generation that rose up some few years ago and were actually claiming that they are the never again generation because the hand has remained so much in water that is bitter leaf. Many of them are testing the bitter leaf and they are trying to jump out and go for the worst crumbs. But guess what? Because the nation was handed over to God and it is now history because God accepted it, everyone going by the tricks that the La République had put in place, they are finding it difficult to penetrate. And I want to let Ambazonians know that when the thing was too hot, La République discovered that he can send to La République, France discovered that he can send to La République a former military intelligent person as an ambassador, under the guise of an ambassador. But he's actually a military intelligence officer who is out to spy and give information to make sure that the Ambazonian quest is dead. But I have bad news for whatever they call his name there in Yaoundé, the military guy who is sitting there as an ambassador. He's not. He's a spy. And I have bad news for you, sir. Sending you to La République du Cameroon now to try to see how you can crush the people of Ambazonia is a mission dead on arrival. Yeah, I'm saying it unequivocally that it is a mission dead on arrival because we have gone past whatever tricks and games La République had played and has been playing using, France has been playing actually for Africa, using some of the tyrants and the dictators that they put in place as proxies. So I have bad news for you. Today is the 18th of October 2022. A few days ago, which is history, we celebrated our 61st Independence Day as Ambazonians. And during the war drafts that we have been contributing for humanitarian purposes and for the stabilization of our nation, the president unequivocally declared and told us what we should tell the world, which of course is not hidden from the world, because the world knows that on the 1st of October 1961, our independence through Resolution 1608 was granted, and some unscrupulous fellows came in, taking advantage of some ignorance that was existing at that time and some maneuver that was also in place, which in some cases, as a historian and as a spiritual being, I sometimes blame the spirits that came over the people and blindfolded them, like the Freemasons and other fraternal societies to whom the devil had handed over La République through France, wanting to shed innocent blood. But the innocency and the ignorance of the Ambazonian, the average Ambazonian people, spared them, waiting for them to get to a point where they will fully and totally depend on God. And the time has come. And this is the time. Now, before I go ahead, I want to tell the entire world, and especially the people of Ambazonia, that La République du Cameroon, that gained her independence through Resolution 1349 from the United Nations, and it took place on the 1st of January 1960, was preceded by a lot of irregularities. And I want to let you know that since the foundation of La République du Cameroon, a president has never been elected in that country. In fact, Ahijo was appointed before their constitution was even prepared. The sham constitution that has nothing and had nothing to offer to the people of La République du Cameroon. France was totally in charge. I'm not getting into that page because that does not very much interest us in Ambazonia. What is interesting us in Ambazonia is that our freedom had been given, and we unfortunately remained in darkness. I'm coming to tell you how we are out of that darkness very shortly.
You love me so, and you know my name. I give you glory, Abba Father. You know me, you know my name. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. You know my name, oh Daddy, hey. You know me, you know my name. I can see your hand in my life. Lord, I see your love upon me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the view. I dey hear your voice in my heart. Lord, I feel your love over me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the pillow. Abba Father, you know my name. Papa, you know me. Yeah. You know me, you know my name. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yeah, yeah. Yelele, yelele, yelele. Jesus, your love, now oh. My master, your kindness, now wonder oh. Every time I look around, now you are the sea. Every time I turn around, now you are the view. Jesus, you said I be a picking, no. Jesus, you said your love will cover
Yes, and that's what we always want. Our Father knows your name, and that's why you need to get very close to Him so that you can know how much He knows you and how He knows your name. There are a lot of people who have decided to sit on the fence and they want peace without justice, but that has never been the way of God. And there are people who are holier than Jesus Christ and don't want to step on the toes of anybody by standing on the truth. Yeah, the truth is that you cannot support a lie. And if you are in a situation and in a position where, your truth is going to make you to get out of this life before time, you have the opportunity to keep quiet, but to do something that will please God. And so I want to advise all those spiritual people who are still claiming and telling people how that following after God is not the real thing to do. You are wrong. You are wrong. So,
I give you glory, Abba Father. You know me, you know my name. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. You know my name more than the air.
recently, in one of the outings of our president, he made a startling revelation of which I did not only get it in the physical, I actually got it also in the spiritual. Now, there is a language that is used throughout the scriptures and is used also in most of our traditions, which is, if you wish evil to yourself, you will have evil. If you wish good to yourself, you will have good. And so people are advised not to use foul language to their children. And some who do not have a heart that fears God or don't know the truth, they have given names to their children, and those children have grown up to be the names that the parents call them. You get to a hospital in a village, you ask the mother, what kind of child have you given birth to? You say, I've given birth to a thief, meaning that it's a boy. He calls that innocent, ignorant little thing given by God that he's a thief. And the other one said, I've given birth to a shawu, to a prostitute. And you wonder why some ladies grow up, no matter what is done, the life of prostitution is in their veins and in their blood because of the pronouncement that their parents gave to them. Jacob was a liar and he got a lot of provisions and received a lot of blessings as a liar, as a cheat, a trickster. But the day that he finally was to assume the authority of leading as a righteous person, his name was changed from being a thief to a father of many nations and to be called Israel. And of course, you know of Abraham. When God finally saw that this man was going to be a blessing, he had to change his name. So there are so many people who have pronounced and used bad names to themselves, and they are reaping the consequences of these bad names. My dear friend, there is that chance and the opportunity for you to change that name and call your name a better name. I remember a story of a certain very ugly man in a particular country in Africa, and everybody knew that he was ugly. but they started calling him handsome, 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 handsome. And I'm telling you, at the end of the day, with his ugly face, but because of that name, handsome, there was a scramble for him because of the name he took up, handsome. What am I saying? I'm saying that 61 years ago, Ambazonia received her independence. But we have been crawling and always saying, oh, we want UN to recognize. Oh, UN has recognized us a long time ago. Oh, we want other countries to recognize. They have recognized us a long time ago. So what do we want? We need to tell the people we are the 55th nation of Africa. Can you look at me here? Just look, let me draw closer so you can see very well. Forget if you don't see my face, but just look at what I am putting on. This is who we are in Ambazonia. Can you see me very well? Ambazonia, the 55th nation of Africa. Can you see that? Oh, let me see. Could it be that this, let me just take away this telephone number so that I can see my dress very well. What do you read on my dress, ladies and gentlemen? Ambazonia, the 55th African nation. That is what I am carrying. Ambazonia is the 55th nation of the world. So if somebody is telling you that Africa has 54 nations, tell them that no, sir, you made a mistake. The Ambazonia is the 55th nation of Africa. And if you want to argue extensively and so much, tell them that Resolution 1349 that gave birth to La République du Cameroon is the same resolution 1608 that gave independence to Ambazonia. And you will not be telling a lie, you will not be making a mistake. You'll be living up to what you say. Now, I told you, I don't know how it's going to look like, but just take a look at this. What can you read? Can you read what is written on the back of my shirt? Read it very well. Ambazonia, the 1st October 1961 to 1st October 2022 makes Ambazonia 61st Independence Day. Can you read that? That's what I'm talking about. You need to tell the world that Ambazonia is the 61st in its 61st Independence Day, and it is the 55th nation of Africa. Did you hear that? Now, it's not only in Ambazonia and the people that are watching and hearing the language I'm talking, but I'm soon going to show you what we are telling the world. Now, when Jacob's name was changed to Israel, he stopped calling and answering Jacob. He became Israel. I want you to tell the world that Ambazonia is the 55th nation of Africa. I don't care what people are saying. I've heard some people say it is a country that is in oblivion. That is their cup of tea. There are some people have said that it's a country that is in internet. That's correct. You are not wrong. We are in the internet. Some people say that it is a country that is not existing. Unfortunately, they are blind. This is a nation that has been existing and is existing for 61 years. and it is the 55th nation of Africa. Please, if you don't have any message to give anybody, carry this message and run with it. That you are now having in Africa 55 nations, and La République du Cameroon should quickly recognize this neighbor so we can be the closest neighbors to them, because God knows our name and we can remember where we are coming from. So that is the message I actually had for you, and I have for you this afternoon or this morning or this evening or this hour, whatever time you are listening. Let me come back. Let's listen to Sister Josephine and Annie tell us, put in our minds that we need to remember. And when you are remembering what the Lord did to you, please don't fail to remember what West Cameroon, former British Southern Cameroons, and now Ambazonia has done. That on the 1st of October 1961, we got our independence. And we restored that independence. I'll be coming back the second point to tell you how we restored it. So just listen as she reminds us what we need to know. Yes, Jesus, thank you very much. We remember. Again, if you look at my t-shirt, you see that the language that is there is a different language. Now, it reads, Ambazonia, the 55th African nation. Can you see? But it is in another language. So I've just given you the interpretation of what it is all about. But let me tell you, how did we come about this? Now, I've just shown you how our independence was 1st of October 1961 and how it was restored on the 1st of October 2017. Now, you don't restore a thing that did not exist. And you can't call it a government when it does not comprise of a geographical land, it doesn't comprise of a people. Above all, the organization of the people, meaning the administration. Ambazonia, in its restoration, we got all the articles that made us a nation. We have a flag, we have an anthem, we have a people, we have a language, we have a geographical location, and above all, we have an administration. That is, we have a president, we have a vice president, we have the interim House of Representatives, we have the Judicial Council, we have the Ethics Commission, and you can name the rest of the departments. We have a Secretary of State for Defense, that's self-defense for now. We have a Secretary of State for Communication. We have a Secretary of State for Resource Mobilization, that's Treasury. We have a Secretary of State for Home Affairs. We have, I mean, all the branches of government, we have them. And where do you get them? When you get down to the administration, where Dr. Samuel Sako Ekome is the president, you'll find all these people line up and they are at their duty post, all volunteers. Now we have an army, and this army is called the Self-Defense Ambazonian Restoration Forces, ARF. Now, those are people that are loyal to the interim government that President Sako is in command. That is to let you know that our history is authentic, can be verified, can be handled, can be proven, and can be looked into. Now, let me give a sidetraction for a little bit. All the other groups that have sprung up during this time of our restoration, we are not ignorant of where they are coming from. It has been the old trick of La République de Cameroon to destabilize people, fragment them, and conquer them. Now, when they came into what they call a federation, after 7 years of lingering around in that thing they call federation, in fact, it was actually 10 years because, no, call it 11 years, yeah, 11 years. Although it did not actually fulfill 11 years. But when they discovered that in the attempted federation, the former British Southern Cameroon, West Cameroon Ambazonians, they were still in synergy, working together. And La République was trying to indoctrinate them and to pump into them corruption, waywardness, worship of the devil, and all kinds of wickedness that is known in the world today. And when they discovered that these people were unbendable, they decided to do a divide and rule. In 1972, they came up with Northwest and Southwest. And when they came up with that, some skirmishes started coming up here. There was a little fight here and there. But the people had the DNA of honesty, sincerity in their spirit and in their blood. And it was still going. They decided that no, these people, after we've said, let's unite together, the unity was to do what? Was to take away every property that we had. That was when they crumbled the Cameroon Bank completely, crumbled our air transport, crumbled our shipping lines, tried to crumble our economy by closing WADA, closing the UNVDA in DOP, closing the Nduti, closing the Santa Estate Coffee, and so many of those things that you have already heard. Some of you who did not have the opportunity to listen, to hear in those days directly. You had the opportunity to hear many of us recount these things when we restored our land. That's why I tell people that I love the way God does things. God knew that if He just allow us to walk into Ambazonia, what we are going through, when we start to tell some of these stories we are telling now, many of you who were born yesterday in La Republique, you may not believe us. You don't know the hardship that we have come through. And so God went ahead and hardened the heart of Paul Biya and told him to deal with us. And when he started dealing with us, so many people who don't hear the voice of God actually turned out and started following the devil of La Republique. And who is that devil? The fragmentation that he has tried to do. So many branches have fallen off, but the trunk of the tree for the restoration of Ambazonia is still standing and it is sprouting. Recently, over the months, you have heard of the drafts. Millions and millions of CFA franc have been drafted to make sure that we get to Boya. La Republica has borrowed and borrowed and borrowed and borrowed. We have not borrowed. We have refused to mortgage any of the resources of Ambazonia because we know that tomorrow we shall be a nation that is better. And so we will not want to carry a bag and try to go to some streets in Europe and then mortgage our resources, or we will not try to sell some pins and some bonds and some currency that does not even actually exist, and then not to build a nation, but to eat it for ourselves, and then fly from one place to other and enjoy ourselves. And because of that, there is this story that is going all around the place. Do you know that some people started saying that I am an agent of La Republique du Cameroon? Did you ever hear that? Oh, yes. Yes. They have been saying that Mr. President is an agent of La Republique du Cameroon. What an irony. What a joke. What a pleasant joke of the 21st century. So, Ambazonian, that is our history. We have been restored. And because we have been restored, we have gotten and we have to get all that was ours. Because these things, they existed. And while they existed, many of you did not know. And we have come to tell you that this is what is going on. And this is what was going on. And I will let you know that we have not changed and we will not change, and we have not dropped any of our decisions to get ourselves straight to Boya. We are getting to Boya, and guess what? We must get there. Oh yes, we must get there. And in order to get there, we want to get there with you. That's why we are telling you this history, so that you can jump out from the lies and the games that La Republique is playing and team us with us. That's why we are telling you this history. Team up with us. And when you team up with us, I am telling you, you'll be able to understand what we are understanding now. Because those people who are sitting on the fence, I don't blame them. They are not only ignorant, they have also been blinded. And those who say they are spiritual, who have been indoctrinated by telling you that to talk about the well-being of the people of your society, you are a criminal, because that is left for those who are ungodly. And they tell you that when you become a politician, you are a sinner and you are going to hell. Meanwhile, that means they are telling God that Proverbs chapter 29 verse 2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when wicked men bear the rule, the people mourn. They are simply saying that God is stupid and God does not understand English or understand politics. That's what they are saying. But I forgive you for your ignorance, and I was once there. And that's why today I am here to educate you, to teach you, and to let you know that you have a duty, and your duty is to tell the truth. And what is the truth? The truth is that Resolution 1349 brought La République du Cameroon to her purported independence, where there was not an election. But Resolution 1608 brought the Ambazonian people to their independence on the 1st of October. Meanwhile, before it even happened, there was an election and there was a government set up. La République has never set up a government because France drives the African nations that are under them as if they are he-goats, beat them up, rub them in mud. They don't care the dignity of the girl child. You know, their so-called soldiers are savages, ill-trained, wicked from the heart. And people think, they have an oppressive language. Meanwhile, their own citizens are under bondage with their language. But I want to tell you that in 1954, Ambazonia, before 1st of October 1961, was self-governing. All the evidences are there, and you cannot pretend. So, but La République has been trying to hide it over the years, and instead of lobbying these very wise people to teach them, they came with oppression. And the oppressed people, when they get so oppressed that they know that there is no life for them, and that death is the impending doom that is waiting for them, they will go for it and say, if we survive, we survive. We've seen it happen in so many ways and in so many cases. And the results had always and have always been positive. Fellow Ambazonians, I want to tell you the games of La République are continuing. Remember, they have done everything to fragment us, cut some very strong branches, but they forgot to know that it is a tree trunk that carry the branches and not the branches that carry the tree. They prune the trees, the tree of Ambazonia, but unfortunately for them, they did not know that it was fortunate for us, so that we can cleanse out all the thieves that were trained in La République and were hanging amongst us. People that behave like La République, you condemn somebody before you go to ask for evidence. But in Ambazonia, in the former British Southern Cameroons, it was not so. So we have gone back to where we were. And as we are there where we were, we are able now to do things in a proper way. Some of the thieves, when they left, they were rejoicing that they have broken into the account of the interim government, money that they never contributed. And of course, they thought that they were living in the kangaroo nation of La République, where you can do anything and you go away with impunity, but they have found themselves on the corridors of the courts of the land where they are living. And that's what we're going to practice when we get down to Ambazonia. And to those who are sitting on the fence, saying that, well, if it materializes, we come. If it doesn't materialize, okay, let's enjoy ourselves. Some of them have seen where we are going. They have seen the finger of God, even though they don't know the God, and they know that we are going, and they have started appearing, trying to make themselves relevant. Some of them call themselves, how do you call them? They call themselves frontline leaders. Frontline leaders that don't know how to lead even themselves. What a shock and what a shame. Yes, what a shame. So we are telling you, Ambazonians, that our nation, which I happen to have witnessed the tip of the iceberg, I happen to have witnessed a little bit of it, is coming back to light. And my wish is that the young men who are listening to some of us today should apply themselves to wisdom, because it is only truth that liberates. If you try to get through the window in order to have the truth, you are wasting time. So stop wasting time. Let's get up to something. Now, I told you, I showed you in English. Look at what I'm wearing now. In another nation, recognizing Ambazonia as the 55th nation of Africa. If you can see, let me just show you my back. Yeah, I think you can see. Let me try to sit like this so that you can see and understand what I'm talking about. What you are reading there is 1st of October 1961 to 2022 of 1st October. It is the 61st Independence Day of Ambazonia. And I want to tell the Ambazonian young men that many of these years were spent by our forebears in prison, in hiding. Every year, there was a group of people, they were the SCNC. It's unfortunate that a number of them believe that they must be the people to hold the baton to the end. And they are making things difficult for the now generation. It is sad. When you have run the race, it comes to a point where somebody takes over from you. Support that person. Don't use La Republic method to create a kind of a difference. Support the gentlemen that have come up now. Nobody is undermining what you have suffered for the past 61 years. Because I remember that every 1st of October, there were people who were locked up in dungeons, in prisons by La Republic, even in their own land, Ambazonia. And ignorance was the talk of the day, the key of the day. But when knowledge came, we expected that some of these old people should not sit tight and become like the ancestors of Yaoundé, that has nothing to develop themselves, not to talk of developing the nation. People who need walking sticks and who need somebody to help them show the door to their home. How will they lead a nation in this world of technology? How will they think for the people? Ambazonia should not be like that. As a historian, I want to tell the Ambazonian people here and now, as we get into our land tomorrow, God is my witness. I am not going for any position in the government, but I will be an advisor, possibly without a salary, because that is what has killed the world today. Money that they try to acquire, sell other people, and they end up like Judas Iscariot by not spending the money. Some of them have sold Ambazonians and have died without spending the money for which they sold their brothers. Don't be a fool. Jesus told that rich man, hey, you say you have farmed, you have harvested, your barns are full, and now you are going to sit down and relax and eat, but this night your soul will be required from you. Don't be like that foolish man. Distribute. That is why I am telling you what I'm telling you. all of us, by God's grace, walking and talking to you the way we are talking here on ABC, we are all volunteers. The interim government has not placed us on any salary. So we are volunteering our mind to help you, to educate you. You who are 18, 20, 25, 30, we are building the land for you. And if there are people who should be zealous in coming in to contribute for the war draft so that we can drive at those terrorists and you inhabit your land and live in it peacefully, it's this generation, 18 to 35 years old, even 40. You still have some few strength, a few years of your strength to use to build the land. But some of us, we have taken a decision not to be the ancestors of the land. But once you climb up there and you are an ancestor, you will hinder the growth and the involvement of this generation. My dear friend, I do not know who has deceived you. This is our history. Some of you who are not from Ambazonian land, you were made to think and believe that the Ambazonian people are separatists trying to cut out themselves from the Republic of Cameroon. It's a lie. It's a lie. As a historian, I've told you that all what we are doing is documented in the United Nations. United Nations cannot wipe out the records. In 1929, the League of Nations that gave different boundaries to different countries, there is a pillar that is showing a boundary between the Ambazonian people and Nigeria to the west. And to the east, there is a boundary stone that La Republic has done everything to cut it down. But before they cut it down, they cannot tear it out from all the archives where it has been documented that La Republic and Ambazonia are two different countries. And I do not know why some of us are still very dull and being carried away. Please wake up from your sleep and know that we're never a part of La Republic of Cameroon. Paul Biya declared that he knows that Boya was the headquarters of West Cameroon. Boya was the capital of Southern Cameroons. It is there in record. Can one country have two capitals, headquarters? And when the president of La Republic said it, some of you are still following after the crumbs. In 2011, during the centenary, two maps were given to La Republic of Cameroon by the same United Nations, telling them that this land that you are claiming to be yours, we know the origin. Take the map and look at it. It is there in the archives. History is proven. History has evidence. And so people who have been doubting and still going by the narratives and the narration of La Republique du Cameroon, you are willful, ignorant people. Or you are just being dishonest to yourselves. Because every evidence is there to prove that we were not a part of La Republique du Cameroon. And following the scenario and the history of events, when we came to join La Republique du Cameroon, Amadou Ahidjo declared that they were never going to make us second-class citizens, that we were going to be equal. It's there in your record. And when France was pushing them because of the stupid agreement they signed in the 50s, 58 and 59, La Republique du Cameroon signed an agreement with France, of which the Southern Cameroons was not a part of it, that they were going to keep their reserves, They were going to give them anything that they want to do as development. Once France is interested, if France is not interested, they will give it to another party. If they have any economic or any developmental programs, France was going to be the first. And it is going on. Ambazonians, wake up. Father, I pray for those Ambazonians that the demonic spirit of blinding their minds, blocking them, will fall off right now, so that Monzu, Anyangwe, Bala, Guanyam, and the rest of them who are dancing in between, their eyes should be open to see that the ploy and the plot of La Republique failed in 1972. They became United Republic of Cameroon. And that was to take away all our equipment and take away all our investment and take away our economy. And when that was done, they became now, they reverted in 1984 to Republic of Cameroon, putting us where? Where are we in their record? So they separated, went back to their former name, and left us in the sea. And some people so stupid, so foolish, are still sitting there. The Frundis, who are talking of a federation that never existed because they were never even recognized in the federation. And when the eyes of the Ambazonian people began to open, you came up and you are advocating for a federation. How dull can a people be, blinded by the demons of Freemasons and Rosicrucian and all fraternal societies? But this generation, we have declared, it is the no-nonsense generation, the never-again generation. And we are pushing on. Mr. President, Dr. Sako, and your entire team, Mr. Ate, thank you very much for your background work. Some of us in Ambazonia, we know you. Go ahead. Secretary of State, Dr. Mungwa, you have told La Republique of Cameroon that there are agents they planted amongst us who use his mouth and use our medium to take over. Now people's eyes are getting open because you cannot fool a Baba for life because your hair will grow, or else you'll be known to be King Midas has ass's ears. So with that piece of history, I'm telling the Ambazonian people that our nation is the 55th nation of Africa. I shall come back to tell you what position we occupy in the countries of the world. Now, we are telling United Nations and the international community who we are. They are not the ones to give us our name. They are not the ones to baptize us. We baptize ourselves, take the name to them. Now, we want a seat in the United Nations. That's what we are telling them. In the next General Assembly in 2023, September, Ambazonia's seat should be in that place. Tell the international community and show them the history that they have been trying to hide because of the corruption that is going on in the world. But our God has come to announce us, and he's announcing us. That is why 55th nation of the world is right here in front of the camera. You don't need to go and ask somebody somewhere. That is our nation. So that is the identity you should carry now as an Ambazonian. Let the people know that you are a member of the 55th nation of Africa. Well, ladies and gentlemen, share this particular historical fact of today, and remember, we shall be coming back with more of this history to let you know. Please, if you are an Ambazonian I want to plead with you. Come in here with me. Let's educate our people. I tell them about our history. Tomorrow is another opportunity for us to be on ABC and to talk to our people. Thank you very much, and God bless the people of Ambazonia. I will not forget to tell you that this Saturday, we are going to draft the federal capital city. That's Fako County, where Boya is the seat and the headquarters of our government. Please, come in, let's liberate our headquarters, and let's get down there by ourselves. I want to tell you, don't mind what the boys that are down there, who call themselves whatever name they call themselves, and they have taken money, bribery and corruption from La Republique, and they have allowed things to be going the way they are going. God has seen them, and he will soon zero down on them. You know, Sodom and Gomorrah did not live forever. I want to tell the Ambazonian people, be positive. Come and contribute. We are not fools forever. We are not giving this money to unscrupulous fellows. Mr. President said it all. You must get back into the house and prove your loyalty in the house before you can be supported. But if you feel that taking bribe and allowing La Republique and other enablers to be parading our streets and making noise, that is a good thing for you, go ahead. There is a surprise, because God wants to take the glory. Doesn't want that nobody should hit his chest tomorrow and said, I did it. No, you will never do that. God is the one who is doing it for us, and we trust him. Now come in and support the federal capital city. Meanwhile, the spiritual cabinet, I have always talked about you. You are the backbone, having the ministry of the unnoticed. We'll not call your names here, or will not announce you here, but you are doing a great job. That La Republique is flabbergasted, and the demons that are working with them are getting sleepless nights and headaches because all their plans have failed. I'm telling you, they cannot tell us what is going on in Canada because it has failed. Our God was there to dismantle them and to tell them that you are fighting a people that have been blessed, a people that have been freed. So please, don't give up. Come in, let's join our president and the rest of the people in the Fako County to make sure that we tell the Republic and the world that we are alive. God bless the people of Ambazonia. Now, I come from a particular place, and I'm going to say something in that language. Zongnekana Ramay Rakam, Gainina Zita Panomi.